that's going to prove.
This is what they're thinking. What they're thinking is they have a Republican supermajority, and honestly, they don't have to try hard to expel people. And so they just go in, and they're like, okay, you've made too much noise, and your skin is too black, so we're going to get rid of you. And so,
it's honestly, a colorism problem. Is that what you're saying?
That's really what I think.
If they were Obama, if they was like Obama complexion or lighter, they'd be okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Too black means that you're black.
Oh.
Because think about it, Elliot. The lady did the same thing. She gave speeches at the same time. She participated in the marches. She participated in the sit-in. She participated in every single protest.
The Republicans just had to change their heart at the last minute.
We're going too hard.
Right. They voted on the first two. Then you're like, I feel bad. Maybe we'll let one of them stay. Oh, surprise!
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So. Hey there, everybody. This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
This is Elliot.
Hope everybody's having a fantastical day out there.
Fantastical, huh?
So, day 2 on the Discord remote situation.
Yeah,
top. Yeah.
Take a little bit of setup.
How you liking it so far, bro?
Listen,
I kind of like it, but I miss you having you in the studio, bro.
Yeah, I know. And the like we said the last time, energy is definitely different. But I like not having to ferry my entire computer and everything from one place to another, because I don't just have podcast setup stuff on there. I got like music and all my art and
I know
all my pictures.
We've got to basically get like everybody else and make ourselves either a Patreon or something, so people that support the show.
That's right.
Yeah,
so people can pay for our new equipment. That's right.
Yeah. And get another one of those fancy chairs that I use in my home office.
Exactly. So that we don't have to move the chair back and forth from room to room. Listen, we're going to look back on these days. One day we'll have a real studio. We're going to look back on these days and be like, oh, man, you remember when we were set up in the man cave?
Yeah, I know, with the Thanos gauntlet in the background.
It was a staple. You sitting in my chair now, so.
But at the same time, I kind of like it, though. It's a little, I feel like it's more homey, more raw. Like, this is really who we are.
Correct.
And we threw our thing together and made it look as nice as we could and said, man, we got some stuff to say.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think, we are at least as intelligent as about half of the people online who have something to say. So
exactly.
We might as well go ahead and throw our hat in the ring.
Everybody just, these days making podcasts and stuff, people get a couple cameras and 2 mics and they throw themselves in front of it.
They're like, my opinion matters. So, if those people can talk, I figure we can at least do the same thing, right?
Yeah. So today, man, we got to talk about I don't want to call it the great state of Tennessee. We'll just call it the state of Tennessee for now, because what they're doing is
tumultuous state of Tennessee.
It's great in one aspect, some people, and it's terrible. Some other people are doing.
You mean some people are doing something that's really great, and some people are doing something that's terrible. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell you, Elliot, I've been following this story all week, and since last week. So as everybody out there knows, there was a mass shooting last week at a Christian school.
Was it last week or week before? I feel like it was 2 weeks ago at this point.
It might have been 2 weeks ago, but I thought it was last week. But
I feel like it was 2 weeks ago. But whatever. A mass shooting happened in Tennessee.
Yeah. 6 people were murdered, 3 children were murdered, and 3 older staff members of the school, I think one of them was the principal, were killed. And so because of that, obviously, you had the Republicans dig in and say, no gun laws, no gun laws, no gun laws. And then you had a gigantic protest at the State House of all these children, all these parents, all these protesters saying, we need gun reform. We have to do something different. Yeah. Because, at what point, and sometimes I wish I was a reporter, because I would ask these Republicans,
at what point do you have to do something?
How many kids have to die for you to stop saying that and say something different, right? Because I think about, imagine if we had plane crashes at the rate of mass shootings, right? We had 300 something plane crashes every year, every week. We all accept the fact that a plane is going to crash, and everybody's like, oh, well, no, we can't regulate the planes. We can't tell the pilots to do anything. All we can do is literally tell everyone, you guys, you got to buy more plane tickets.
Well,
you got to.
The only problem the only thing you're missing is there is no constitutional cover for somebody to say, well, we can't regulate planes. It's right there in the Constitution. We can't infringe it at all.
Well, let's touch on that for just a second. This is the part that infuriates me so bad.
Yeah.
Now, what you just said was there's a constitutional cover, which I agree that they use it as a constitutional cover. They use it as a cover
because that's not
specifically say we cannot do more regulations because we have the Second Amendment, right?
Yeah.
What's the Second Amendment have that all the other amendments don't have?
A preamble, basically, a pretext for the actual law or rule that's there.
But even simpler than that, the Second Amendment is the one amendment that specifically says the word regulation. It's crazy because the Republicans use that amendment as a cudgel to basically make the argument that we should not and cannot regulate guns when it's the one amendment that says within a well-regulated, like none of the other, like the First Amendment says you have the freedom of speech. It doesn't say within a regulation of this. You have the freedom of religion. It doesn't say anything about regulation. But the one amendment, they turn it on its head and they say, oh, this amendment gives us the right to say, we should never regulate guns when it's the one amendment that tells you to regulate. And so I have a gun.
It's malicious and incompetent. I do too.
Yeah, I'm not a proponent. Like a lot of people say, ban all weapons. I do think there should be assault weapons ban. I do think that you should have a ban on things like bump stocks and high
capacity magazines.
But also the armor piercing bullets and things like that. Yes, we need to ban all of
stuff like that. And I think that they're like, even when you say assault rifles, I think that there's probably some wiggle room. Like honestly, the law can probably say something along the lines of you can only carry a rifle in like designated in specific designated ways unless you are in an exercise or you are in like some kind of activity specifically with a militia, because I think the main problem,
because that's what I would ask.
That's it. I think the main problem always ends up being if we just say, hey, you can have all of these weapons, but those weapons have to be registered to a militia, and the militia owns those weapons. So if a crime is committed, the militia is responsible for identifying why somebody was able to get their weapons and go commit a crime with it. And I think when you have to tie that to an organization or you have to tie that to a paper trail, and there is somebody ultimately who's responsible and not just the guy who ended up getting shot because they were trying to kill themselves anyway with police by going and doing something horrendous like murdering children, like I think you create a society of people who are all a lot more respectful and have a real relationship with guns. You don't have people on the one side who are worshiping guns like gods, or people on the other side who are so scared of guns because they don't understand that they're a tool like any other tool. And in the right hands, with the right training and the right respect for what it is, like a gun is just a tool like any other tool.
But the problem is, we never get to have any of those types of nuanced conversations because
we get stuck on the stupid ones.
As you know, my main, we're going to go back to it as always, the money. So the reason why the Republicans shut down the debate is because they take millions of dollars from the NRA every year. The gun manufacturers have a gigantic lobbying arm that makes sure that no matter how many of our kids die, no matter how many of our grandparents get shot at a grocery store, no matter how many of our family members are murdered at concerts, at churches, at synagogues, in the middle of the street, it doesn't matter. We're never going to do anything.
Here's the wild part, though.
It drives me nuts because
I don't even know. I think when you're talking about like national party politics and you're talking about national party operatives, I think you're right. I think the money motive is probably the most likely.
Well, that's the only place that the change could come from, because I don't think...
Yes and no. But when you're talking, like when we get into what's going on at the state house level in Tennessee,
they're taking the same money though.
Yeah, but it's not like the majority of the Republicans who made the vote are the ones who are the beneficiaries of all that money. Some of them are the beneficiaries of that money, but I would guarantee if you go and you actually look at the financials for all of these state Republicans who voted those three out, they're not all taking NRA money. Some of them just principally feel like gun rights are like a real thing. And the other thing you got to remember is there are people who vote these people into office who genuinely believe that what we both understand is a crazy incorrect interpretation of the Second Amendment. Those people believe that, and they are looking for somebody who shares their belief that that's the correct interpretation, and that's the person they're voting into office. So we do have to contend with the fact there are people who disagree with us, and I don't know. Like, that's the part that scares me. That's the part that frustrates me.
Because
like,
it's like living a different reality.
Yeah. Like,
and I don't think that there are no people that really do believe those things that you're talking about. And I get it. But at the same time, at some point, I don't know. I feel like at some point we're going to have to make a change. And I have a weapon. I think that think people should have the right to purchase a firearm if you're responsible. And obviously, you meet the requirements.
We are not gun ban advocates around here.
All that.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, come on now. Like, the way we grew up,
right?
We have a respect for what a gun is.
Right. It's a tool.
We both have guns.
It has a place.
I get it. So let's kind of dig into this just a little bit here, okay? So if you could, let's look at the picture of our friends here.
The picture or the video?
Just the picture. I just want to kind of talk about. Let me set the stage. So basically, after the mass shooting happened, you have a giant protest, right? And so you have over 10,000 people showed up for these protests. They've been protesting every day,
It's mostly students and teachers, right?
Yeah. And so I want to talk about these three state Congress people in the state of Tennessee. Okay. So are you able to pull the picture up?
I don't have any pictures. I got the videos queued up. So you're just going to have to talk, and we'll pull the videos up when you're ready.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
What picture are you talking about?
I sent it to you, the last one, underneath the videos.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So basically, the three Congress people are Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson. Those are our three Congress people.
One of these things is not like the other. I'm sure people will figure out.
Yeah, I mean, like they'll see it in the video, so it's not that big a deal. But Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, I'm sorry, and Gloria Johnson. These are the three Congress people that have been standing shoulder to shoulder every day since that mass shooting. They have been giving speeches. They have been speaking to the media. They have been working with the different groups that are there that are protesting. And basically, after their protest, the Republicans basically said, you guys are out of order, you're out of decorum, so we're going to hold a vote on Thursday to expel all three of you.
Which is crazy, by the way. Expelling people just because they're, quote-unquote, out of, not comporting with decorum or whatever is wild. Yeah. That's wild.
And so let's go to the first video. Just kind of looking at Mr. Justin Pearson. Let's look at his. He's the 55 seconds in.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do, huh? Okay, hold on.
Yeah. So y'all work with us here. But basically, the reason why I wanted us to watch these videos is just because these guys have been protesting, they've been fighting as hard as they know how, just to bring attention to an issue. The fact that the Republicans in the state house are completely ignoring their constituents. I mean, like, they're not even willing to have a conversation about protecting their own citizens, protecting their children, gun rights. Like, yeah, and this has been some of the most inspirational speeches, the most, like, I've been on this story every day, all week. I've been just, like, following along what's going on, because there is a race component to this story as well. You've got two black guys and one white older woman are the three Democrats that are being expelled, and it's a mess.
All right, I got the video queued up. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's see if we can get this to play.
All glory and honor to God, who makes
this man got
all
a preacher
things
voice.
possible, who takes the son of teenage parents Kimberly Owens Pearson and Jason C. Pearson and brings him to an institution built by enslaved people's hand. All glory and honor to God, who brings those who've been marginalized and excluded into this place and tells them that you still have a voice, that you still are somebody, and that the movement for love and justice cannot be stopped because we've still got a heartbeat, because we've still got a movement for love that needs us. We've still got people who are calling on us to act and to do something. To all you who still believe that the best days for democracy are ahead, for all of you who still believe that our better days in Tennessee are ahead, I want to tell you that I still believe with you. And how is it that even now amidst persecution, on this Holy Week, after my own brother Justin Jones, Representative Jones, gets expelled from the House, is it that we still have hope and faith and belief in the democracy of Tennessee, faith and hope in the belief in the democracy of the United States of America? How is it that you still have hope, you descendant of enslaved people? How is it that you still have hope? Well, it's because even from the bottom of slave ships, my people didn't quit. Even in cotton fields and rice fields, my people didn't quit. Even when they were whipped and chained and told they had no name, my people didn't quit. Even when they incarcerated us, locked us up for a crack cocaine epidemic created by President Ronald Reagan to fund a war in South America, my people didn't quit. Even when they defunded our schools, separated us and called us colored and white, even when they put us on lynching trees in the state of Tennessee, specifically in Shelby County, my people didn't quit. Even now, as our own brothers and sisters lay to rest because of the failure of people in positions of power to do something, because people are refusing to pass just laws to end the epidemic of gun violence in the state of Tennessee, my people have yet to quit. And so even now, amidst this
so you can
amidst this,
that's good whenever you're ready. Because
okay.
it's a longer speech, but you want to go into the next one, you can, by the way.
Yeah, I'll get that. I'll get that straight. But man.
Yeah.
So first
I told
of all,
you, man, these guys are
first of all,
special.
I just want to point out his I don't know if that's a kufi. No, it's not a kufi because kufi is the hat. The shirt he got on is fly. Because it's like I can't think of what it's called, but it's like the African shirt, but
like a dashiki?
It's a dashiki. That's what I'm looking for. It's like a dashiki that goes over his dress shirt, so he can still wear his suit and tie. That's pretty slick. That's pretty. That was the first thing I noticed.
These guys are speaking in a cadence that is very recognizable to the Black church.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
you know who he sounds like?
And it's a cadence that I think Dr. King.
I mean that too, because it's like Black Baptist preacher, but no, he sounds like Cornel West. That's who he sounds like.
Yes.
He sounds like a young Cornel West. That's who he sounds like.
And so for those who don't know, that was Mr. Justin Pearson. He's a Democrat from Memphis State House of Representatives of Tennessee.
Oh, he's from Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
out.
voted to expel him yesterday.
Dang.
So let me know when you're ready to pull up the other one.
I got the other one. I'm playing it now.
Okay, cool.
Let's talk about expulsion. For years, one of your colleagues who was an admitted child molester sat in this chamber. No expulsion. One member sits in this chamber who was found guilty of domestic violence. No expulsion. We had a former speaker sit in this chamber who is now under federal investigation. No expulsion. We have a member still under federal investigation. No expulsion. We had a member pee in another member's chair in this chamber. No expulsion.
Going back. So that is Justin Jones, right? Justin Jones was also removed yesterday. Now, the third member, her name is Gloria Johnson. She has been arm in arm with these guys every day. They held a vote to expel her yesterday. The vote failed.
Of course it did.
So, the thing that I wanted to kind of get at here at the end of that is the fact that we know that there is a racial component to this. It's almost like they're trying to shiv us and then twist the blade a little bit because they want you to know not only are we getting rid of these two guys, but if they were white women, they probably wouldn't have gotten rid of them. Like it's almost like they want you to know we got rid of you because
I was gonna say
not because of what you've done. We don't care what you did.
You added an extra word there that you definitely didn't need. You were like, oh, they did it because she's white. No, they did it because they can.
Yeah, and it's a mess because like the reason why I really wanted to get at this story is because Justin Jones, this is Justin
Gloria.
Jones.
This is Gloria here.
Yes.
The white woman in the middle. And then
the one in the middle.
This guy got expelled, I think, first, and this was the guy who was talking in the first video, and he got expelled yesterday. You said.
Yeah, they both got expelled on the same day. I think it was yesterday, Thursday.
That's wild.
But the guy with the afro, that's Mr. Justin Pearson. He was second. Okay, and then they held the third vote, which was for Miss Gloria here, and she is the one that the vote failed. And so, the outcry of support for these guys has been so loud and profound in Tennessee. Of course. And I also heard a story today about the fact that now there's going to be a special election. And just because they were expelled does not mean that they are barred from re-election.
Yeah, they literally can run in their own like special election. Like there's no law against it. Because isn't that what happened? Who was the last person that got like booted out of their seat and they basically ran for their own seat? They lost, but they ran anyway.
I don't know. I know the lady in California, she got booted out of her seat, but she didn't rerun though.
She didn't rerun. No, I feel like somebody re-ran for their seat.
I would have to Google that one.
Last time around midterms, but I can't remember.
After being I don't remember that. Maybe it was a state person. I don't think it was.
And maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I'm tripping. But I feel like I remember that happening recently.
Yeah. So if these guys win their re-election, they can't be removed for this again. So they'll be permanently back in their seat until the next election. So I'm really hoping that they're gearing up for another campaign.
And they crush it. Since they already won their elections the first time, it's kind of wild.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild that they would get expelled. Because my thing is, I don't know what the Republicans are thinking that's going to prove.
This is what they're thinking. What they're thinking is they have a Republican supermajority, and honestly, they don't have to try hard to expel people. And so they just go in, and they're like, "Okay, you've made too much noise, and your skin is too black, so we're gonna get rid of you." And so,
it's honestly, a colorism problem. Is that what you're saying?
That's really what I think.
If they were Obama, if they was like Obama complexion or lighter, they'd be okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Too black means that you're black. Because think about it, Elliot. The lady did the same thing. She gave speeches at the same time. She participated in the marches. She participated in the sit-in. She participated in every single protest.
The Republicans just had to change their heart at the last minute.
We're going too hard.
Right. They voted on the first two. Then you're like, I feel bad. Maybe we'll let one of them stay. Oh, surprise!
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So what's happening?
You couldn't possibly make it look worse. If they had expelled all three of them, at least we could say
expelled her first. But that's the thing. Exactly. So that's the thing. It's almost like them not expelling her was the plan from the beginning. No, we need to show them. No, this is what we're doing. You can cause what's called good trouble. Yeah, but not too much. If you get too loud, if you get too out there, we need to put you back in place. That's really what it looks like.
Here's something that really black pills me sometimes. There are a lot of white people right now who are really upset with the police, and they're making a lot of noise about how we need to defund the police. And I mean, they're using that exact language. Oh, the FBI is corrupt. Oh, the police officers are corrupt.
When they went after Trump,
not just that. Now everybody's getting hip to the fact that contempt of cop is causing police officers to escalate situations that don't make any sense to be escalated. So there are situations where cops are doing things that are fundamentally wrong. They are, they are trampling on people's rights in ways that everybody kind of agrees are wrong. So hey, I need you to step out of the car. And the guy's like, okay, am I under arrest? Am I being detained? What crime do you suspect me of committing? Oh, I don't need to answer any of those questions, which is not true most of the time. No, they're supposed to tell you, hey, I think, I have a suspicion that you're committing a crime, so you are detained until, I have a chance to investigate. But there are a whole bunch of rules and regulations and specific ways that that's supposed to be done. Well, what's happening a lot of times is like they're not really following the rules, not very closely. So of course they come up with the reasons, the justifications, post hoc of why they had to pull you out of the car. And if they find something great, and like that's not really the way things are supposed to go. Well, when those situations get out of hand and a white person is dying, all of a sudden it's a problem because we've had 3 or 4. I think the guy's name was Chase Allen. And when you watch the video with Chase Allen, 1, he has a gun. 2, he's kind of doing the whole sovereign citizen thing because basically the reason they even stopped him was he was in a car and it wasn't registered. And I like not past due registration. Like he said, I'm not registering the car. I don't have to because I have a right. And this is the argument. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. I don't think this argument actually will hold water in court. But this is the way the argument goes.
I'm interested to hear this argument.
I will tell you. So
I know it's not going to hold argument.
Well, actually, I don't know because I don't know if it's
hear
been challenged. So the argument goes, as an American, you have a right to travel. The police cannot keep you from traveling just cause. So the way that the laws are written about driver's licenses is the whole reason you need a license to drive is so that you can drive other people in your vehicle. It's not to operate the vehicle. Now, I don't think that's technically true. What
does that have to do with registering?
Wait. Okay. So the vehicle registration is an agreement with the state. This is the argument. The vehicle registration is an agreement with the state. Hey, I'm allowing you to register my vehicle or to have a registration of my vehicle. So if anything happens, like you can help me find my vehicle. I don't want to enter into that agreement. I know that. Okay. This is why I don't think the argument holds water.
Yeah.
The driver's license one at least sort of makes sense, but I don't think it's another one that I don't think will hold water because what they're saying is, hey, in order to actually be able to travel, like I have to be able to drive a car because the way our society and our system is set up, driving is necessary to actually travel. So I shouldn't have to submit myself to state-controlled licensing or state-controlled anything to be able to operate a vehicle that I'm required to be able to travel. No, I'm traveling. I don't need a license for that. I don't think that's true. But that's the argument. So the dude was on that kind of stuff. They were like, hey, nah, that's not cool. We're going to get you out of this vehicle. I'm asking you to step out. If you don't step out. And the guy called back up, pretty much at the beginning of the altercation. And as soon as his backup showed up, he was like, all right, I'm pulling you out of the vehicle. So the guy opens the door. He goes to pull the guy out. The guy reaches. Now, it's hard to say because he does have a holster, but the gun was tucked on the floor. And where he actually reached his hand, it looked like he was trying to take his seatbelt off.
Was this guy black, by the way?
No, he was a white guy. But as he reaches for, hey, I'm not there, so I can't say. He reached to what looked like an empty holster in the video to maybe take his seatbelt off. Somebody yelled, gun, because they saw the gun down here, and they shot him. So, of course, everybody's like, die? Yeah. So, of course.
I haven't heard this story.
Yeah, he got shot a bunch of times because, the door's open. There was, 5 cops or 4 cops or something like that there. The guy opens the door, yells, gun, pop, 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 pop. A bunch of shots go off. So, yeah, the guy dies. The city is like, hey, how could this happen? Why did they have to go, in like that? Why wasn't there something else we could do? Yada, yada, yada. And all I can think when I see this situation and a couple of others that I've seen is y'all didn't have nothing to say for all them black people in Minnesota that got shot, for all them people that have been getting brutalized by the police for all these years, and we've been saying, listen, we want the police to do what the police are supposed to do, but we need a better system to hold police who are not doing what they're supposed to do accountable because the system right now is broken. And as soon as they do something they're not supposed to do, everybody acts like, oh, well, that's just an anomaly. That never happens for real. Like, it's just that one-off. And there's not all of these other incentive structures that cause people to try and cover stuff up. Because I think that's really where the problem is. It's the same problem with the federal government. If taxes were high, but everybody felt like they were getting something out of it.
Things from the taxes.
Most people wouldn't gripe too much. Like they would still gripe. They'd still be mad about it. But it would
but Elliot, the evidence for what you're talking about is already out there. Just look at the happiest countries on earth,
Yeah.
like Finland, Sweden, Norway, those countries where, yes, they have high taxes, but the people feel like their taxes are going to more than just wars and tax cuts.
And so to bring this back, the reason that whole thing frustrates me, the Chase Island story, and seeing how people are reacting to it, the reason it frustrates me is because the whole reason we can't get police reform, we can't get good, like, reasonable services from our government, it's racism. That's the only reason we can't get anything done. If we didn't have racism, I guarantee we'd have gun reform right now. Guaranteed. If people weren't racist and weren't like, well, I don't want black people to have guns.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people on contact with that statement, I think, would immediately disregard it.
Yeah, they're like, you're just pulling the race card again.
A little bit. No, let's think about it a little bit. Like, let's bring it
right
to a point of reference, right? So think of any major gun reform in American history. Like, I think about when the Black Panthers decided.
Oh yeah, they was gonna start carrying. All of a sudden, it's a problem,
right? And so, like, they had literal assault rifles, and they were doing. If you look at I watched so many stories on that. If you look at the stories, they quite literally were using them for defense.
Yeah,
and they were. Like one video I saw, because the Black Panthers, they did a lot of charity.
Yeah, so they were doing like community. They were doing community stuff. And it was just like, the police not gonna roll up here and break in our stuff.
Yeah. Or the Klan, or
or whoever. Like, y'all not gonna terrorize us.
Y'all need to know we're tired of that.
Yeah.
And so, boom, gun reform.
Well,
like, there's a group. I don't know if you've heard of this group, but they're the NFAC. That's what they're called. The Not Effing Around Coalition. That's what the group is called.
Really?
So no, I'm not playing. The F is the F word.
Obviously,
I'm not joking.
I believe you.
NFAC, where this group is in Atlanta, where like this was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think Trump was still president. This was you remember the march, the Nazi march thing?
Yeah. In Charlottesville.
Yeah. This is like around then, where this giant group of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. They were all black. Mm-hmm. They had giant like assault rifles and stuff. They were in full gear. This was like full gear. Like, we're going to war.
Like
and
going to war.
This giant march in Atlanta, and their leader did an interview with like CNN or something. And he was like, "We just want you guys to know, we have guns too, and we're not playing." Like,
listen, he was really like, "Listen, I'm trying to scare me some white people today." That's what I'm trying to do.
Guess what? There were introductions of
gun reform.
I'm not joking. And so, like, when
hold on.
The reason why we don't get now, of course, they didn't go.
So what you're saying is, my point is, these two Justins went around it the wrong way. What they needed to do to get gun reform was to get a whole bunch of black people from Memphis who have guns to show up and march peacefully on the Capitol. That's what you're saying they needed to do.
Yeah, because I mean, like, wasn't it the governor of Michigan? All those guys were like trying to kidnap her a couple of years ago. Remember that story? And they went to the Michigan State House with guns.
Yes, I do remember that. But there was like a whole plot because people are idiots, and whenever they're plotting this sort of stuff, they always do it in digital form, like it's not being recorded everywhere in triplicate.
I mean, a lot of the stuff that happened at January 6th, that's why it's being investigated.
Of course,
was in those chats.
Yeah,
and
because people was on 8chan and 4chan and everything else.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
Just like, hey, we're gonna storm the Capitol, and they're putting it in their group chats. The craziest thing to me is people putting their crimes in group chats because, like, this is apparently a ongoing thing where people think it's secure. They're using
let's talk about it real quick before we get started with the coup and the crimes.
I know, right?
Anybody else have anything they want to add? Any other
any other felonies we want to just put in the
any points of reference or confessions? Anybody want to tweet or?
I really want to murder Hillary Clinton. I just want to make that known.
Whoa! Don't say that.
In a video game?
Don't say that.
I see. There's no coming back from that.
I didn't say that.
Listen, the Google guys are going to demonetized.
Yeah, right.
Demonetized.
And I'm mad because this is a good video.
It is. Listen, we ain't got to make that much money on this one. We'll get them next time.
But all right. So let's bring it back to Tennessee for a second before we end here. So for everybody out there, I just want you guys to know, please, look up for yourself the story of the Tennessee State House. Look at what's going on down there. If you want, see if there's any way that you can help. If you know anybody in Tennessee, send them some support because honestly, these lawmakers there on average, they all represent about 78,000 people. And That's 78,000 people times 2 that have just lost their representation in the state house.
Yeah.
And that is unacceptable, especially considering how many Tennesseans are at that state house, like, feeling represented by those two guys that are, calling for change.
Not only
And
that,
for protesting, these guys have been now removed from their seats.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, if we don't want our country to become, fascist or a dictatorship or any of these like hyperbolic things that people say we already are or we're already heading towards, like these sorts of things, the sorts of book banning measures that they're doing in Florida, like these sorts of very overt breaking of laws, because like if they're supporting a peaceful protest, nobody died, nobody got hurt, nobody got shot. I don't even think anybody got arrested. So if there's no laws being broken at this protest that these guys supposedly supported, I guess, or spoke at, how can you justify removing them? And if we justify just removing people willy-nilly, like, I think that's going to have really, really serious, really negative downstream consequences.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I always worried that the weak impeachment charges were going to result in something like this. Not that they shouldn't have impeached him, but that they should have come with something a little stronger. But I think they never want to go at Trump for the strongest stuff that they had on him, because then they'd have to actually start looking at the stuff that other people are doing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
same reason why the Democrats can't do anything like about Clarence Thomas.
Right. Which is
because
crazy.
They can't say, "Oh no, you're taking money from rich people." They all do that.
Right.
So it's like, now the Clarence Thomas thing, and I'm going to just quickly, for people that don't know.
Give the Cliff Notes version, because I just saw this today.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas is a Supreme Court justice. He's been there since like the 90s or the 80s or whatever. He is a conservative, and he's basically been taking a bunch of free trips from a billionaire, going to these all-male resorts.
That's weird, right? When I heard that, I was like,
yeah, I'm like,
that's a little weird. It's a little
I don't want to go to all-male resort.
Here, it's weird that you want to
take my wife.
That's what I'm saying. And because it won't. It's not like a. You just go for a day. It's like you staying there at the Sausage Fest for a week.
Elliot, would you go to a resort without your wife? Because I wouldn't.
Nah.
I wouldn't even want to go to a resort with just my boys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A resort is not something you do with non-intimate partners. Like,
I mean, it's one thing if you say me and my boys are going to Miami and we're going to, like, I don't know, try to go find women. But you're going to a rich man's billionaire resort.
That's what I'm saying. That's the part that's weird.
And I'll give guys, that's weird.
I'll give you benefit of the doubt, right? So maybe you go to a resort as a part of like a conference. So like there's a business conference. There is some sort of event that is open to either the public or to like people who signed up or whatever. And now I'm going there for that. And it happens to be at a resort. But no, like just showing up.
A little bit of devil's advocate. He's a Supreme Court justice who is basically taking a legalized bribe to go to this resort. Maybe it was a business meeting, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, maybe he was going there to get the orders that he needs from his Republican donors.
The problem is it won't just go into. If it was just going to the resort and that was it, like,
and then go to the conference room and leave.
Yeah, right. But it wasn't just that, because he also got like the resort, and he got to go on a yacht. He got to go, like, he got gifts, like trips. Other gifts. It was supposed to be like not money.
They gave him a $19,000 watch or something.
Yeah,
like all type of gifts.
He's just giving him all kinds of stuff that, like, in my job, I just work like as a peon for the power company, and I can't take anything over. I think it's $50.
I work for
or it's technically considered a bribe.
We have to report anything that you get.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not allowed to
take that stuff.
Anything.
So why is it that, for us normal people who work for companies or for businesses or for the government, we can't take this stuff, but a Supreme Court justice,
right?
You're at the tippy top of the pyramid of power. You can take bribes? How does that make sense? You can take really extravagant gifts. How does that make sense?
He can take them. And the thing this is the part that's the saddest of all of this whole story. Okay, the fact that our government is so corrupt that they're not criticizing him for taking it.
No,
they're criticizing him because he didn't disclose it. Why didn't you just disclose it? You already can take all types of legalized bribes.
Well,
and you're already rich.
This
Why
is
don't you? He
this
makes
is
$285,000 a year, and
yeah.
he's been there for decades.
Yeah, but
Why are you not like?
here's the okay, but this has always been the problem, okay? The Democrats keep saying, listen, guys, we got a good thing going here. We figured out how to legally take bribes. Why won't y'all just take the legal bribes and leave well enough alone? But the problem is, fundamentally, taking bribes is wrong.
Yes,
Everybody
it is
knows.
wrong,
No,
but you're saying that.
No,
Are the majority
no,
of the
but
Democratic and
no,
Republican
no.
Party
Here's
politicians
the
saying that?
okay. The problem is they know it's wrong.
Are they
That's
saying that? Are they living that?
wait. It's not about them saying or living it. They know it's wrong, which is why there are laws against the wrong kind of bribes, because those are the ones that you can't come up with some kind of justification for. So
I mean, I hear
they
you,
build
but
in all of these exceptions to bribes that they can take. And what's happening is a whole lot of everybody can see that taking bribes is wrong, but they built in all of these exceptions so that they can take bribes legally. All the people who already know it's wrong are just like, well, I mean, you're just taking the legal ones, but the illegal ones are the same thing and they're better. So I'm gonna just take the illegal ones, and because
that's my point.
Nobody's gonna care anyway. And
That's my point. Is the reason why they can't really like. I mean, who knows? They might like AOC is trying to get him to resign, and there's like a whole thing going on. But my point is the reason why the larger Big Tent Democratic Party can't really do something about it is because they're taking the same money.
Yeah,
they're just taking it in different ways. And usually
they're taking it the same ways,
right? No.
Pause.
Right. Thank
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
From Elliot, yes. But no, like the reason why they can't really do anything is because they're taking the same money from the same types of people.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad that these entities, these rich people and these companies, they bribe both parties.
I mean,
they get it'd be the same billionaire, the same company.
No, what's sad is that
guy
it
Martin
works.
Shkreli.
Yeah.
The guy Martin Shkreli talked about. He literally talked about in an interview recently. Yeah, I gave money to both. Not Martin Shkreli, the guy from the
FTX. Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried. Yeah.
He
gave money to both parties because he said no matter who won. Yeah, no matter who won, I needed a what did he say? Positive regulatory environment so that we could continue to grow and ensure that we were working closely with the government.
Whichever party is in charge,
exactly,
to make sure that I purchased.
That's right.
In order to make sure that they don't regulate me. And what happens when you don't regulate super rich people that purchase the government?
Yeah,
they destroy things.
Of course,
that's what happens
because they don't care. They're there for money.
That's how you have giant oil spills.
Bro, we need to talk about this. We need to just take a quick detour right there. So some independent groups have gone and done testing. Okay, so there's two issues. One is independent groups have gone and tested the air and the water, and their findings are significantly worse than the findings of the FDA, who are getting their information from Norfolk Southern, and the test that Norfolk Southern supposedly took. So that's the first problem. How we all said it doesn't make any sense for us to let Norfolk Southern do the testing because they have a conflict of interest in saying that everything's okay when it may or may not be. But then the second issue is when we actually look at the methodology of what and how they're testing, what equipment they're using, a lot of the equipment they're using to test will not pick up the very specific toxins that you will get from burning off all of these trains. There's a third issue that I didn't even know until recently because Norfolk Southern didn't go to the first town hall or whatever. So it comes out that basically Norfolk Southern was told to do a controlled burn of one car. They did modeling for what that would look. They did modeling for what that would look like and how much toxins would be released if they did a controlled burn of one car. Norfolk Southern decided to burn all 5 cars.
Yeah, with that.
The morning of
all with the same chemical.
Exactly. Right? The EPA did not sign off on them doing that because that's 5 times more chemicals. And it was very obvious. We had all the information kind of the day they did the controlled burning that they did all 5 cars because they were trying to get the railroads clear so that they could get trains back running so that they didn't lose so much time on scheduling.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that.
So I didn't know that piece. We have like 7 or 8, like they keep compounding the problem, because we've already proven that they tried to cover up how much soil was contaminated by basically covering it up with rocks on the train sites. We already have that their testing is either erroneous at best or falsified at worst, and we have information that they may or may not actually be testing the correct ways for the correct stuff that's going to be showing, and they, I would say, maliciously burn more chemicals than they were told that they were allowed to burn in this town, and have caused a much larger problem than anybody anticipated.
They definitely did that for some financial motive.
There's no reason to ever do it if it's not to clear the train tracks, bro. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because the chemicals are gonna evaporate anyway. So you could do the majority of the like debris cleanup as long as you're wearing hazmat suits and all of that stuff, and then you just go in and you deal with the chemicals after the fact, once we figure out how we can deal with them, because they're going to evaporate. So if that means they evaporate into the air, and now we've got just like a hazardous waste area for a couple of days while this stuff, dissipates, it's going to be in the soil, it's going to be in the air, yada yada. But when you burn it, you're creating a whole different set of chemicals that you now have to contend with, and these are cancer causing. These will stay in the air for years and years and years. These will stick to all of the different surfaces in the soot and the smoke and all of that stuff. That's why even the people from the EPA cannot stay in the town. They stay in the town for a day, they start getting sick. People, reporters and things that come into town to report on it, they start getting sick, so they all leave. And I just don't understand why it is not on national news every single day that we have an entire town that's basically been Chernobyled out of existence.
Yeah. It's not on national news because
we're talking it's because we're talking about Trump getting indicted for felonies that may or may not stay felonies.
And then they're out here running back and forth saying, "Oh my gosh,
look at the doors!
It's going to be an amazing day."
There's so many doors. There's so many doors on the New York Capitol building. We don't know which ones they're going in. Oh, look at the routes that Trump might take.
So I don't know if you saw Jon Stewart's show. You watch the show?
I do. The Problem.
Trouble with Jon.
The Problem. Yeah.
So Jon Stewart basically covered the fact that the news teams talked about how boring the trial was for like an entire day, and like he criticized the media because, first of all, the media played it up like it was supposed to be like the last day of the Geneva Convention or something, and then boom, it's a regular boring deposition where he just said, "I'm not guilty," and left.
It's so frustrating that there is so much news. There's so much newsworthy stuff going on, and they just don't. They're too lazy to actually cover it. And this is
media companies. Their goal is to find news actors. They're not there to inform the public, bro.
Well,
they're like major corporate news is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
not
but
all media, not all newspapers. I'm not saying that. Corporate media personalities. I feel like it's there to entertain you. That's why the stuff about Fox News about we can't tell them the truth because we'll lose viewers. No, it's not. The corporate news is a money-making machine. It is not an information machine.
Well, not only that, there is a huge problem right now where it's like all the people who have money are not at all interested in doing anything, so that it's like they're not interested in doing things that are good. They're not interested in like creating a good news program. They're not interested in like trying to create a good science program. They're not interested in creating a good school. They're interested in figuring out how to maximize their ability to extract wealth from any endeavor that they go into. And there's a huge problem where wealth generation is not valuable in and of itself. Like a person cannot just be like, I need to make money and then like use that as my orienting principle on what I'm going to do with my life. Same, businesses do not function as money-making entities. They have to kind of function as, hey, I want to find a thing that I'm going to corner a market on, and I'm going to try and do that thing as well as possible and then figure out how I can charge money to continue to do that thing as good as I can possibly do it. We have fallen off the track somewhere. We have like gotten lost in the woods somewhere when all of our businesses are no longer interested in actually providing good products or providing good services or, finding an actual mission statement and orienting on that. They're all looking for their ability, for their way to extract as much money out of whatever it is they're doing. And I think that's the thing that's destroying like 90% of our stuff. Because imagine
maximizing profit, no matter what, is just not a sustainable thought process, bro. Because yes, it looks pretty when you're making a lot of money in the beginning, but what happens is
you hollow everything out.
It has to be a 15% increase in revenue every year from last year.
And it's not
There's no such thing as we're making enough money now. Let's see if we can improve. No, your goal is to figure out how to make more money this year by spending less money than we did last year.
Yeah.
So if that means we need to have less employees on the railroad car, then that's what it means. If that means we need to have shorter hours for the employees so that we can pay less benefits to the employees, that's what it means. If that means we need to lay off. I mean, did you see the layoffs of the railroad industry over the last couple of years? So that's why these railroad companies are
so short.
2 people
Yeah.
on these giant over the top size trains.
Yeah.
Like
they're like 2.5, 3 miles long, something crazy.
The level at which modern day American capitalism has hollowed out
everything,
our ability to provide products that are of a certain level of quality that we need, that other countries are willing to pay top dollar for. I mean, like, it's so depressing. Bro.
Here's the crazy part, okay? Everybody, the joke when we were growing up in the 90s, the joke was, oh, everything you get from China is cheap. It's made as poorly and fastly as possible. You got to buy American because at least that's going to be high quality. Do you notice
it's going to cost more?
Do you notice that now most of the stuff you buy from China is really good quality? It's actually better quality than the stuff we can get in the States, because a lot of times you can't find a company to make the stuff that you're buying from China anymore. If I want to buy shoes and I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on Nikes or Jordans or Adidas or whatever, the only shoes that I can find that are off-brand are made in China. And they're reasonably priced. I should be able to find.
Veer off on this one, bro.
Hold on. Because when you go to Walmart and you buy like some Asics, right? You buy
okay.
I know you don't. What I'm saying to you is, when you're looking for a decent quality, not name brand shoes, not Nikes, not Adidas, not whatever. The only kinds of shoes that you can find that are off brand and still decently made, decent quality, they don't fall apart after 2 or 3 weeks, are ones that you find from some from some Chinese shop online. You can order shoes and they'll come from some brand you've never heard of. Because I got like 5 or 10 pair of like shoes that I've just found randomly on Amazon or on Alibaba or on whatever random website. And usually, if they're not name brand, they're made in China somewhere, or they're made in the Philippines, or they're made in Thailand.
We're keeping it real. Name brand ones are made over there.
Of course they are.
But at the same time, I don't know anything about what you're talking about because all my shoes are name brand. But good.
Hey, listen, you got it like that. I ain't got it like that.
I do not.
I spend my money on other stuff.
I buy 1 to 2 pairs of really nice Jordans a year.
Must be nice.
No. It takes me 6 months before I go get them. Like, you're acting like I buy a new pair of sneakers every month.
I don't know. You seem like you get a new pair of sneakers every month.
I don't. I don't
believe you. I think you bought sneakers yesterday.
Nope.
I don't believe you.
Yesterday was like a super busy day. I didn't have time for that.
But anyway, yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, this has been a very productive show.
I agree. And I mean, listen, I guess the way I wrap it up is, at the end of the day, if we're going to be able to fix any of these problems, one, we do have to admit where racism is playing a part in like our decision making processes and try to be honest about it. Because I don't even necessarily think it's that big a deal, the fact that our country is still racist all this time later, because I think everybody's a little bit racist. There's like a bunch of memes and songs about it where everybody kind of does it. If everybody looks at a black dude and is like, oh, he's kind of scary, we do it. We look at other random black dudes and be like, oh, what are you doing? Are you kind of scary? You say what's up, he says what's up. All right, cool, he's cool, we're good.
Yeah, but the problem is when you legislate based on those stereotypes.
Exactly.
Because you can look at a person like, oh, I don't know what he's got going on over there, let me stay over here. Okay, whatever. But at the same time, you're not then going to make a law
that says, exactly, and be like, hey,
types of people,
right,
X, Y, and Z. Like,
and
that's the problem.
When the police see them, they can just assume X, Y, and Z, and it may or may not be, like, it might be true. So we just got to be okay with it. Like, that's really where the problem comes in.
Because y'all can act like y'all don't if y'all want to, but
I'm telling you, between
the night, you out in your car, you see a group of folk over there, white or black.
Right.
Click.
Right. Lock the doors. Lock the doors. I don't care who it is. Listen, it might be a gang of like ravenous white women running around here. You don't know. They might be zombies.
I know that there is definite epidemic of Karens who are like,
listen,
the
just
ladies
trying to
that
start trouble,
crying and calling the police, saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm being attacked by a man." When I see those videos,
bro,
and then those people get arrested or what? Like,
don't it feel good?
yesterday. I saw this one yesterday where this super racist, older white guy, he was yelling at these Mexican guys who were doing some type of street, concrete on this road.
They were working.
Like, get out of my yard. That's what he kept yelling at them. But they were in the street. But anyway, so he starts hitting their truck with a baseball bat.
What? Why?
Right? And he broke the headlights. And
yeah,
stuff
that's
like
illegal.
that, right?
You can't do that.
Yeah. Well, then his dumb self gonna step in the concrete, the wet concrete. I'll send you the video. But he couldn't get out.
Hey.
So instant karma. It was that guy that be posting those,
and I'd have left him right there so the police got there and be like, "Yep, that's him right there."
Yeah, that's him.
Vandalism. Take him to jail. Take him to jail.
You know that guy on TikTok that does the another satisfying racial moment thing?
Yes, another satisfying racial moment. Yes,
so
I know that guy.
It was him. So I love it.
Hilarious.
I love it. So instant
Wonderful.
karma.
Listen,
But anyway.
sometimes instant karma is the best kind, right?
Yeah.
But listen, this has been another episode of the Pensive Brothers podcast. I'm Elliot.
This is Aaron.
And we are out. Thanks for watching.